It's actually Dexter doing awesome. Yeah, I don't know where HD is. I guess he just kind of flew back to California, so it's just me and you now, man.
Because you know what? Casters are a lot like chess pieces. They just move us together. We're like action figures, man. We're having a good old
You play chess with action figures? Is that...
Something like that.
Sounds like badass chess, man.
That actually would be really cool to have like the Incredible Hulk and just like a pawn.
Yeah.
And just it's storytelling at its finest. But you know what? We've had some nuts results at this tournament thus far.
It's out of control. I was catching the last game that you guys were casting. It was great. And, of course, we had the games last night. Those two best-of-3 series completely just out of control this tournament. So it has been a fantastic tournament so far. We're not even done yet. We're just getting warmed up, man.
I know we got a loser's bracket round coming up right now. It's going to be TTOne against Slush. We just got done watching Slush play against Last Shadow in that Game 3. So still, we are following the story of the last remaining Zerg in this tournament.
Yeah, I cannot believe there's only one Zerg left, and now he is down in the second bracket, so he has got to win a bunch of games there. Thank you, getting me lined up.
Pulling you into the frame.
All the Zerg players there are definitely going to be cheering for Slush. He is the absolute last one, but he has a very tough opponent in TTOne.
Yeah, TTOne has been winning a lot of games. Do you have the brackets up? I want to just talk a little bit about the path that he has taken if we just scroll down to the losers bracket to find him down there. TTOne has been playing really well, but before the tournament he was talking a lot about his nerves. He actually woke up at like 4 in the morning the night before his first round games, just had to pace around. Because let me tell you something, it is very nerve-wracking here, especially if you get the chance to see this setup, or if you don't, go to gotfrag.com, go to mlgpro.com, check out the photos. It is very intimidating.
It is, and also a lot of the players who have been knocked out or lost their last round, they've actually, I've seen them, they're stressing about it. They really want to, you know, stay on their game and play as best they can. And a lot of players aren't used to this kind of, we don't see this in North America as much for StarCraft in the past. I mean, we're going to see it a lot hopefully in the future for StarCraft too. But yeah, it's definitely taken its toll on the players.
Yeah, and if we look at TT1's path, he got knocked to the losers bracket relatively early on in the tournament. It's actually in the second round he was in the losers bracket, but he won his first game. Then he had to play against Joseki, and he went 2-0. Then he had to play against Suggy, and he went 2-0. And then he had to play against Silver, and he went 2-0. I mean, he is just beasting his way through the lower bracket, which is really hard to do because, honestly, the winners bracket players not only get the chance to, you know, feel confident, know that they have that cushion of the losers bracket, or the lowers bracket, as we say, to be appropriate, but also they get breaks. Losers round players have to play so many more games.
So many games, yeah. You got to remember, a lot of people don't realize this. If you get knocked down early in the losers bracket, you have to play way more games than if you were just able to, you know, use your skills to get all the way through the winners bracket. And so TT1, like you mentioned, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, all the way through the losers bracket. And so he's got to be feeling good about that. But both of these players are just one series away from getting knocked out and going home. Not completely empty-handed, but definitely not where they want to be.
Yeah, definitely don't want to take that trip to Frowntown here in the lower bracket. And this is round 6, so I can't wait to share this conversation. It's round 6 that is going to mean the map is Desert Oasis, unless I'm mistaken, and I hope I'm not, because I chose that map to be in this tournament. But actually, excuse me, I chose Desert Oasis to be in this tournament. Oh, God, I'm so good. And I told Slush, and I had the mature language filter on a BattleNet 2.0, so I saw many of the ship characters revealed on my screen.
Yeah, a lot of players aren't happy about Desert Oasis. I personally love that map, man. I think that there are so many epic games on there. It swears every time I cast a game on that map, it seems to go mid-late game, and it's just crazy shenanigans. And so there's not as many rushes on that map, so we'll see. I'm really, really looking forward to this. I apparently don't even have the game open. What is JP doing here?
You can just open up the game. You can just log back in the top left. And if you'd like, you can even log in on your own account. It can be blared across. I don't even get to be day 9 in this tournament. I'm just MLG Cast. It's like a prison. They call me like Cast 27 or something, you know. But we're going to go ahead and find TT1 here really quickly and get him into the game. So let's go ahead and begin creating on Desert Oasis. It's going to be Zerg vs. Protoss. What are some of your ideas on how to play that map?
You know what? For Zerg, I think it's definitely good for Zerg because of that expansion. I think they were actually mentioning in the future they're going to be changing it on Desert Oasis how that expansion is defended, because one of the one of the main matchups is, hopefully, right, I haven't been able to check the thread, but like 3 people texted me saying this for Desert Oasis, is that they're going to put destructible rocks on one side. And because in Protoss versus Zerg, the Zerglings can attack from both sides, and it's almost impossible to defend, considering right when you're up those ramps, you're in that mineral line, and it can be very, very difficult to defend as a Protoss player. And so right now, though, it is not that way, so we can definitely expect to see a lot of Zerglings. Mutas are also popular simply because of the short flight distance. So we'll see if he's going to play it out like that before they change it.
Yeah, that's something that's really, really weird about Desert Oasis, is how wide open that natural expansion is. It feels so safe because the attack distances probably take upwards of, like, you know, 1.5 to 2 minutes just to walk from natural to natural, which again in StarCraft years, they're like
You're an
We're
old man
well,
by the time
well
you get down
beyond
there.
dog years, you know, like seriously, that's such a long time. But again, because it's so wide open, you can't get the Hellions to, or you know, you can't defend very well against Hellions. You can't defend very well, like you're saying, against Zerglings. It becomes increasingly tough at the opening stages of the game to secure that fast expo. So we're just trying to find, like, if it seems we have a little bit of an error here on StarCraft 2. I'm going to try to get one of the producers to come over here and log us in, because I would be delighted to cast some of the games. But what are some of the results that you've seen that kind of shocked you in the course of this tournament?
You know I talk about in control a lot, but I think a lot of players underestimate how, I mean, unfortunately, number one, he had to play against all of his friends and his teammates, but number two, I think he actually gave a really, really good showing. A lot of people definitely underestimate him, I think, because I mean, in the past, in the HDH, he didn't do as good as people had expected, so ever since then, they've been giving him flack, but he has been doing very, very well in this tournament, knocking out a lot of, I would say, higher tier players that when people compare him. And so definitely got to do it to In Control. And the other one, we mentioned it when I was talking to HD, Nadagast has been just plowing through people. A lot of people, I guess that was a really poor way of phrasing it, but a lot of people at the beginning of this tournament was telling me Nadagast, man, he's a dark horse for this tournament. You can actually see him in the back of the shot there, as a lot of people were like, he's a dark horse, you got to look out for him. I apparently did not do my homework, because he is just taking names right now.
He has been playing very well consistently throughout this tournament, which is pretty surprising to me. He did just recently get knocked into the loser's bracket by Kiwikaki, which is, of course, nothing to be ashamed about. Kiwikaki, one of the best players here at this tournament. But still, yeah, there's a lot of very surprising results. I mean, some of those players who you see who are very public figures, I guess I would say, getting knocked out very early. I mean, Greetorp, In Control, Machine, a lot of the LZ guys are still, or LZ Gamer had to get knocked out by In Control. That's so brutal to hear about. But still, there's some big names remaining in the tournament. Huck is going to be against, I believe, another Terran player in the winner's bracket. Kiwikaki is still in the tournament. Chthon Luck has been performing beautifully throughout the tournament, and we actually haven't even gotten a chance to cast any of Chthon Luck's games, and he is just playing an absolute brilliant, brilliant tournament.
Yeah, the people out there need to realize we can't cast every single game, so it's really unfortunate that, I mean, if a player is just totally working it right now and just making it work, and it's unfortunate that we haven't seen those games, but you know what? For him, it doesn't really matter as long as he's still playing his game, advancing through the tournament. I mean, if he gets to the finals, we're definitely going to have to be casting that, so we will see if he can keep it up.
We wouldn't not cast the finals like, oh,
like,
7th
right,
to
guys,
8th place looks really
it.
cool, you know, and to go ahead and jump into that one.
And we're actually going to watch a lot of two of the top players right now in this matchup. I'm really excited to see, though, if TTOne can carry the momentum he's going. He's got to be jacked. I mean, he hasn't lost a game in his last, 3 matchups. So he's definitely feeling it right now.
Another player I'm very impressed with is Select, who was knocked to the loser's bracket first round. He lost his round 1 game, and he has torn his way all the way back through, I believe, eliminating Mask, who himself eliminated Greetorps. It's a very difficult loser's bracket to make it out of, but very, very solid play by Select. Very impressed by him. I'm a little concerned about his play, though, because he's clicking so fast. Like, when I was watching him play, I just wanted to open up that APM tab. He's doing, like, hyper crazy, cracked out. He's clicking like he kept doing he was going to win something.
Yeah, man. He is definitely, I mean,
But it was a little lack of precision. Kind of kept missing, and a few Marines just kept wandering off and doing their own thing because they were given like 1,000 commands, and I guess they got overload.
Yeah, I definitely did notice that about his play, but like you said, knockdown in the first round, I mean, that is so many games that you have to win, and you're on the edge of your seat the whole time because you're feeling terrible. You lost the first round. No one likes to lose the first round, and well, you don't like to lose ever, but definitely the first round, because then you have to win, like, I don't know exactly how many games it is, but it is way more than someone who just shoots through the winner's bracket.
I believe it's 9 rounds they end up playing. So many. I don't even think that Select has gotten the chance to sit up in a very long time. I mean, he's just getting constantly moved throughout the tournament area. Some of these players haven't eaten lunch yet, running on pure gasoline at this point. And all we are waiting for at this point is for TT1 to get set up and to invite him into the game. I hope he knows that we are casting him, because again, it's going to be PvZ on Desert Oasis, and I've seen Slush do amazing things against Terran players. But against Protosses, I'm a little unsure. I think the Protoss is going to be happy that he gets the chance to build up Colossi without being disturbed too much.
And one of the things I've seen like White Rod do a lot on this map is go for a 4 or 5 gate and try and just end the game early, because it can be difficult to prevent the Zerg player from getting their expansion, and also it can be very difficult to defend your own expansion, and so he'll just proxy 1 or 2 pylons and then start warping in all those units and just try and end it right there before that economy starts to kick in, because once the speedlings or mutas are out, definitely difficult to deal with.
But what is nice about that 4 warp gate is it's not some sort of cheesy BS that you're just trying to win, and if it fails, you're done.
Absolutely.
It's cross-map, and if it fails, the Zerglings are going to be there in like 20 minutes, so it's fine. You can just easily build up, easily get that expansion up, and end up making enough units to defend your natural expansion.
A lot of people think that if you do that 4-gate, you're totally screwed for the mid or late game. Not that way, because especially in Desert Oasis, you do have the ability to cut those units very easily and get that expansion going. So we are just waiting for TTOne. Not sure exactly where he is. I don't see him in the audience
I just found
anywhere.
him. I just tracked him down. He has just logged on. I'm hoping that it was, in fact, him that was logging on and not one of his teammates just helping him set up for this tournament. But, you know, TTOne, again, he said that his nerves were getting to him before the tournament. And most of the time when players sit down and finally get in the game, they relax, they calm down, they sort of get in the zone, and their hands take over. They don't have to worry about their heart getting in the way.
Yeah, I was watching TTOne in his last series. He was playing really, really comfortable, really, really well, and he seemed confident. So as long as he can stay in that zone and keep it going, then we'll see. I mean, 2-0, man, we'll see. I think it'd be pretty surprising if he drops another game.
But see, we're here to freak him out, because I don't know if he knew he was getting invited to the game, because he logged on and bam, immediately
just right
got him.
there.
It was like I was in 6th grade and had a crush on a girl, and she just logged on AIM, and I was like, hey, what's up? Like, didn't even get her a chance to like have her AIM list load up, just instantly spam.
Now you just need to start sending TT1 pictures, and it'll be the exact situation you just described.
Indubitably. So I am very excited to get into this match. So he's actually a little flustered at my eagerness to get into the game. So we're going to give him the good luck, have fun, and both players ready. We're going to make sure that everyone is ready to go, because I don't want to be rude and just start and be like, come on, do what I want you to do, because again, these are players, not action figures.
Yeah, unfortunately, we will not be playing chess with these action figures. So it does look like Slush is ready. So we are going to be starting the game. Yes, the countdown has begun.
Desert Oasis. And you know, part of me feels like it may have been round 6 in the winner's bracket that was Desert Oasis, but you know what? I hosted the game. Desert Oasis, it will be. I love this map. Very long distances by ground, very short distances by air.
I love these maps. There's actually quite a few of them that if you compare these map pools to Brood War, it's that they have taken the feedback from those maps, those original maps, and made maps that are very unique and force players into completely different situations than they were used to.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really amazing about the map set that we have today. It's just all very, very different feeling sorts of maps. I'm especially curious to see what these players are going to choose if they do lose this game. I would expect to see our Zerg player choose Metalopolis, but speaking of which, we do have our Zerg player in the red, Slush at the north position. He is the higher seed, and in the bottom we have TT1 as the blue Protoss.
Absolutely. Here, I was wondering if we were actually going to introduce the players or just kind of, you know, have people guess who is who. And it's going to be interesting to see how TT1 adapts for this map. I think it's a map that, I mean, everyone complains about. For some reason, none of the players really like this map. A lot of people are kind of grumbling about it between games. However, like you said, Day 9, it is a very interesting map to actually watch games on. And there's so many unique strategies that are developed around the fact of this map. I mean, that long rush distance for that probe, he will be there in about 8.5 years before he finally is able to arrive there. And do you know how well Slush played in his last games?
I mean, Slush has been playing very, very well. Last Shadow did some craziness to him that made it very, very difficult for him to stay alive in Game 3. But, I mean, Slush still held down very, very well and stuck through to the very, very end. It looks like his drone is scouting around. Is he going to be going for an expansion? He might actually be expanding to this left position. No, it looks like he's just scouting out and throwing down a spawning pool in his main. I love this very early Oh, that is not a gateway. That is a forge. TT1, cheese incoming.
Yeah, this is going to be great. The probe is now moving out across the map, and you can tell it's going to be cheesy because there's already that scouting probe inside the main base of Slush. So there is definitely some shenanigans that is going to take place right now. There goes the pylon right at the base of the ramp.
And there's the second pylon. That is a wall off. Nothing can get down that ramp, and Slush is going to have to make a spine crawler and creep his way to the right if he wants to be able to take out these pylons. Or he's going to need to do a Baneling bust, but the problem with a Baneling bust, huge distances, you can knock down your front, but it is very hard to get all the way cross-map to your opponent. TT1 continuing to make many probes, continuing to chrono boost, and there's the photon cannon getting thrown down at the ramp.